Alright, let's do this. I'm Jesse Slammerella, and this is Black Metal Rebellion. I'm not in the mood for fucking anything today. I've got a sinus headache, and it feels like someone just like boot fucked me in the back of the head and sent a shockwave out through my right eyeball. And my kids are driving me insane today for whatever reason. The house is a fucking mess, and everyone and everything and their uncle wants to try and push my buttons and test me today. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and do this anyways because it's been almost a week and there's been no content on this channel, and I feel like if I don't have at least like a video or two per week, that I'm failing my job as a content creator. And it gives me anxiety to know that it's been almost a week with no content, because I don't know, for some reason I take this YouTube thing extraordinarily serious. So maybe because I feel like I'm going to let you guys down if there's no content, especially now that we've kind of gotten this far. So yeah, alright, the video name should be something like Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind, a discussion, because this isn't going to be a normal review. I didn't break down every single thing to its fine details. So yeah, before we get into that though, I do want to remind you guys, I'm busy for whatever reason a lot lately. Does recently and lately count as a thing that could be combined? I don't know. So anyways, if you guys are really dying for new content from me, and you're a really big fan of this channel or whatever I do here, I do want to remind you that I do have two other channels. One being The Metal Rebellion, which was technically supposed to be a new version of this channel, because I swore to God that this one was probably going to be deleted. So I figured, fuck it, I'm going to start a new one and just let whatever may come happen to this. So yeah, but it didn't. It's still here. So I guess I'm still doing shit on this channel. But please check out The Metal Rebellion if you want to see me going through all of this stuff on my shelves and all of my collections. I'm going through there piece by piece, about 5 albums or bands at a time or more. I'm in the slam genre and slam and brutal death metal genre at the moment, and I'll be going through all of it. And then I'll be going through all my black metal, then all of my death grind or grind related stuff, and then eventually thrash and punk and all that. So if you want to see a in-depth discussion and showing off of what everything in my collection is, be sure to subscribe to the Metal Rebellion. Secondly, if you did enjoy any of my skateboarding vlogs or skateboarding style of content in the past that was on this channel, I do have a new channel, more or less, for my skateboarding content called Stuck Skateboarding. Look for the blue logo, because that is the new one. The red one, we posted about 5 of them, and then YouTube just decided to say nope for whatever reason on that channel, and the uploading and the monetization and a bunch of other weird things have gone on with that. So there will never be any new content on the red Stuck Skateboards channel, whatever that is. But look out for the Stuck Skateboarding channel, the one with the blue Stuck logo, if you are interested in skateboarding content from me and my team, which needs to grow. I really need to find some more skaters in Durham region that really want to be a part of this team and just film some stuff on a regular weekly basis with me and Mike. I don't know what's going on with Jeff, aka Jeff Topsy. He was supposed to do some videos with us. He was supposed to send me content of him skating. He hasn't been. So I don't know whether he's a member of the team or not. He spent some money for stickers. He paid for his his amount of stickers. And I've been asking him, what do you want me to do with these? Do you want me to send them to you or whatever? He says he's coming down this summer, but it hasn't happened yet. So I guess we'll see. So anyways, I know there's at least 125 of you that are interested in the skateboarding thing, and for whatever reason there's only 27 of you subscribed to the Stuck channel. So everyone who's interested in skateboarding content from me, go subscribe to Stuck Skateboarding. Alright, now that I've rambled enough about that long enough, let's talk about the new Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind. I first started getting into Slipknot back in high school, roughly 1999, basically, when the first self-titled album dropped. It was a really new kind of genre of music for me to get into. It was very heavy. It's kind of came at a time where I wasn't really listening to anything besides just kind of classic metal at the time. Basically Sabbath and Ozzy and Alice Cooper and Deep Purple and Soundgarden, that kind of stuff. And then going from that to Slipknot was pretty huge for me. So needless to say, I was a big Slipknot fan when they first came out. There's just like detuned guitars, extra drum sounds that I had never really expected to hear because of them banging on kegs and random whateverness. There's a sampler, there's a DJ, they had like there's a lot of stuff going on, and it was very cool and moody and just perfect for a young teenager in high school that was a metalhead. So yeah, needless to say, kind of have a bias and a positive opinion of them already. Iowa came around like 2 years or 3 years later. I don't know, I can't remember. I don't really give a shit. But it came out a little bit later, and then that was like the hugest thing for a lot of us metalheads back in the day in high school, or at least my high school. Like, if you were a metalhead back in the day and you didn't have Iowa when it came out, you were like, what the fuck? Why don't you have Iowa? It's like the heaviest thing anyone's ever heard. I know there's heavier stuff out there, but in my high school, back in that day when it came out, it was the fucking heaviest thing. So we all had a copy of that shit. We all loved it. It was probably the best Slipknot that had ever came out, and probably will ever come out, because after that, this whole thing with Corey's vocals just took a big turn, and everything after that is what I like to call the heavy Stone Sour era of Slipknot, because Volume 3 came out, his vocals weren't anywhere near what they were like on Iowa. They did a change. He started trying to sing a lot more, aka the Stone Sour singing that Corey does now for Slipknot, and it was kind of painting the future for what Slipknot was going to be. And it is what it is. It was good. Duality was good. There's a lot of really interesting tracks on Volume 3, and it eventually probably became one of my favorite Slipknot albums, even if it wasn't the heaviest Slipknot album. So there's that. Now, if you watch Banger TV, they recently did a review of the new Slipknot, and one of the comments was that Corey Taylor said, "We Are Not Your Kind is the best thing since Volume 3. The guy that did the review with the big beard, cool dude, seems pretty nice. I wouldn't mind hanging out with him if I ever got the chance. He said that that's true. It is probably one of the best things that they've released since Volume 3. Now, a little bit of a rewind here before I get into that, like he did. I want to say that when I first saw, that's the thing about Slipknot, you always get like a weird image drop and teaser before they come out with the new album, and it's always the masks. Everyone always wants to know what the new masks are going to look like, and when they dropped, it was about a 50-50 split. Half of the masks looked absolutely cringy and ridiculous and weird, and I didn't like them, and the other masks were either unchanged or very slightly altered, i.e. Mick and Jim Root. Although I gotta say, I like Jim Root's new take on his kind of jester mask. Mick Thompson always just looks like a fucking cross between Kane and Jason Voorhees, so he's always intimidating and huge, and he probably just seems like a guy that could fold you in half. So there's always that intimidating serial killer look about him, which is cool. He doesn't need to change. The only thing I think he needs to do maybe once in a while is just do maybe some different colors with his mask. Depending on what picture you get or what image you get, it looks like his mask is sometimes green or sometimes maybe slightly red or whatever. I think it would be neat if it was actually like vibrant and noticeably different, like noticeably green or noticeably red or noticeably blue. If he doesn't want to change the physical look of it, maybe he just wants to change the color, that'd be cool. Whatever, I don't really care. So anyways, when it first dropped, the mask that Corey Taylor wore just turned me right off. It looks stupid. It looks like a see-through plastic mask that you would get from Spirit Halloween or from the dollar store. You know, these guys are probably multi-millionaires, if not have like $500,000 a year incomes, and you couldn't afford a less cheap looking mask than that. I digress. The aesthetics really don't matter, but I have to mention them. It is Slipknot. It is a band that utilizes theatricality and imagery to really get that hype train rolling and people talking. So I'm not going to cover any more of that. Half the masks look dumb or cheap. Half the masks look good or just the same. Samey. Let's talk about the music, and let's talk about We Are Not Your Kind in comparison to Volume 3. At first, the very first thing that I heard from the new Slipknot, which is not even actually on the album, was All Out Life. I thought the name was kind of cringy. I thought it was too, I don't know, sunny side up and optimistical themed for a band like Slipknot. They don't seem like a very optimistic, sunny side up kind of band, you know? So the whole all out life and being happy about life just seemed really weird. Now, I don't know the context of the whole song or all of the lyrics, so maybe there's some sort of sarcastic, darker part of that song. I don't know. The video didn't intrigue me. It was just a bunch of people running around with like blood splattered do-rags covering their face or whatever the fuck those things are, pantyhose looking things. So that was weird and not really appealing to me. And then the song just didn't seem like it had all that great of catchiness to it. Because when it comes to Slipknot, at least the post Iowa Slipknot, you always kind of, or at least I always think of them as like a band that like really utilizes riffs and utilizes memorable, catchy kind of tunes that as soon as you hear it, you know what the fuck that is. And that song is literally unmemorable for me right now, because before watching this, I ran through the We Are Not Your Kind a couple of times. Before preparing for this video, I listened to it like once or twice as well, and that song just was not a good outlook for the new Slipknot for me. I mostly enjoyed the Gray chapter. There's a couple of songs that seemed like filler and kind of There was quite a bit of decent stuff on there, even though it's still just heavy stone sour for the most part, except for like the experimental parts. Obviously, you got the DJ, you got the sampler, you got the experimental percussionists, but for the most part, it's just heavy stone sour. You got to agree with me, and if you don't, explain why you don't agree with that, because it just, I don't know, it does. It just seems like that to me. So, leading up though to listening to the full new album, We Are Not Your Kind, it kind of grows on you, and you can kind of see hints of the self-titled coming back into it here and there with certain riffs that are being played. There's a certain way that Corey emphasizes certain lines, the way he sings certain lines. It's not like the stone sour singing, like his actual like raspy Slipknot growls. The way he delivers them kind of harkens back to some of the things that they did in the self-titled. So that was neat to hear that kind of started coming through. They definitely still are experimenting more in the new album. He's experimenting more with like melodies and once again stone sour singing style that he's doing, and it's all right. Some of it's okay. I'm not a big fan of him trying to be all melodic and like artsy and singy and moody with like the clean vocals, but some of it's okay and fits in the songs plural here and there. I really enjoyed the Red Flag song. There wasn't really too much of a groovy, memorable riff in there. It's just like very chuggy and like marchy and like stomping around your living room type of music. So there wasn't anything too memorable or catchy in there. It's just very aggressive, and I enjoyed that song. Then there was also Nero Forte, I believe was sort of similar to that, but then it had like a very melodic, catchy chorus, I believe. The some of the songs kind of blended together, so it's hard. And I did try to watch a couple of the videos where it's not just the album cover and then all the songs play. I tried to get the ones where like individual videos per song, so I could actually identify the song title to what I'm hearing. So, anywho, yeah, the We Are Not Your Kind, I don't know if I can say is the best thing that came out since Volume 3, but you could definitely tell that they are trying to blend Volume 3 with their self-titled, but still experiment with the Stone Sour clean singing type of thing, and the melodic type of stuff that they're trying to bring to the table now. It's very geared to the mainstream metalhead listener. It's definitely geared to radio play. A couple of these songs are, at least. They're still trying to get that catch-all metalhead net that they're casting with this music. They don't seem to be experimenting in a way that segregates them from the mainstream or segregates them from the general metalhead populace. They're not trying any black metal elements. They're not trying any grindcore elements. They're not trying any super duper tongue-in-cheek offensive lyrics. They're not dabbling in that side. They're still experimenting, but they're not doing it in any sort of risky type of way that would lend it to being banned from radio or MTV or whatever. It is what it is. The more I listen to it, the more I'm enjoying it. I also feel like they're trying to maybe incorporate some other nu metal or metalcore bands riffs or ideas that might lend themselves to more accessibility, because there's a couple of songs in there where you're like, oh my god, they've been listening to some Mushroomhead recently, and you can tell. And if not, it's one hell of a coincidence, because there's definitely a couple of Mushroomhead albums from the last couple of years. The sound from those has definitely seemed like it has creeped into that. Now I realize that yes, Mushroomhead and Slipknot, to the outside viewer, might go, hey, well, these guys are kind of similar. They're sort of nu metal-y, sort of melodic metalcore. They both wear masks. What's really the big difference there? How can you say that they seem like they're borrowing from one another, or Slipknot's borrowing from Mushroomhead, when they're kind of just the same genre? Well, because they're not exactly the same. If you're a Mushroomhead fan, you know they don't sound exactly like Slipknot, and vice versa. I don't think they use the same guitar tone. I don't think they use the same experimental instruments. People, like, I'm 99% sure that Mushroomhead don't have like people who bang a keg with a bat. The DJ Schmatz, I think it's Schmatz. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. I haven't actually researched the band members of Mushroomhead for ages. All I know is I still need to get one of the albums, Ugly Stories for Ugly Children or something like that. Fuck, I need to pick that up. And it's not that expensive either. I think it's like $4.99 on eBay, for Christ's sakes. But anywho, long story short, the new Slipknot is good. I don't have anything really negative to say besides just the masks, that I don't really like some of the masks. But once again, that's aesthetics, that's not the music itself. Corey still is just doing the Stone Sour singing that I don't understand why there's more of that being pushed onto their music, besides just the fact that maybe they're trying to be more accessible. However, if you ask them, they'd probably say, we're not trying to be accessible, we're rebels, and we're fucking sticking it to the mainstream. But are you really? Because I don't think so. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about this is that what would I like to see from Slipknot in the future, if they do continue on, is maybe, I know they're trying to experiment right now, but maybe experimenting more in the side of things that aren't just going to play it safe. Try experimenting more with maybe slightly more underground genres of music in there, if you are going to experiment. And since that's what you plan on doing anyways, it seems like, why not explore some sort of black metal element? Why not explore some slams in there? Why not explore some maybe gore grind or porno grind elements, or some noise elements? Really, you're at the point of your career, Slipknot, where you could basically pump out you guys recording toilet noises and singing over them, and people would still buy your albums. You're not going to lose money. So since you're in an experimental mode or mood lately, as it seems, why not go down that fucking rabbit hole? Why not see what crazy shit you can add to make it heavier and more edgy and more tongue-in-cheek and more just outside of the box? Because you're still, yes, you're experimenting on the new album, but it's in a safe way. It's still safe, and it still feels like you haven't really, I don't know, you haven't reached your peak as a musical artist unless you've gone all out and see what you can do. And I don't think Slipknot's there yet. And if they're really true to being that rebel of the music scene, they're really intent on being boundary pushers, and they really care about just doing things the way they want to do it, then let's see it. Let's see you step out of your safety zone. Let's see you step out of this soft, cushiony version of Slipknot. Let's see a stripped down, let's see this raw, even more focus on experimental stuff that doesn't lend itself to radio play, that doesn't lend itself to, 100,000 new fans. Let's see some real soul searching here and get down to the nitty gritty, because it might not sell as much, but I think as a musician and as someone or as a band who's really trying to push the envelope, or did really push the envelope back in 1998 or 1999, you guys seem to now be just coasting on easy mode. Even though you are experimenting more, it just seems like you have just made Gray Chapter Part 2 with slightly more melodic metalcore parts, and it harkened back to some Volume 3 and some self-titled Slipknot elements just to appease the hardcore fans of Slipknot. It doesn't seem like you're really experimenting. It just seems like you're grasping at straws and scratching the bottom of the barrel now. When really, I know you guys probably have a lot more interesting stuff in you if you just let go of what fans are expecting, let go of this need to please the radio, and be that 1999 Slipknot, be that mate, feed, kill, repeat Slipknot, do more experimental stuff. It's like, we're going to experiment, but only as long as it fits this square. We're not going to go outside of this square, because once we step outside of that square, we might not sell 1 million copies of the new album. You've got 3 new members now. Utilize those members and really dig deep for the next album. Not that this album is bad. If I had to rate it out of 10, it's an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it's a good, safe Slipknot record that could be so much more. Anywho, that's my thoughts on the new Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind. Let me know what you thought of my thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the new Slipknot. Are you sick and tired of hearing about them, by the way? Because I know the guy on Banger TV said every new Slipknot is basically a new event in music kind. And it's like, is it though? Is it really a new event for music kind? I heard the new Tool song, by the way, Fear Inoculum. Garbage. I don't care how many thumbs down that's going to get me either. I like Tool, but it just seems like 10,000 Days light. Sorry. Anyway, that's my rant. My apologies for not being my super duper upbeat self. Once again, I'm suffering from a huge sinus migraine. I've been popping Buckleys like there's no tomorrow. It's not doing shit. So, fuck me, I guess. And before I go, I'm going to remind you one more time, if you want to see more of this face, because I don't have any, CDs or albums or anything like that coming for a while. I'm poor as fuck, and I'm trying to get some projects off the ground, things moving. So, let me know what you want to see from this channel besides updates, and I'll try to suffice that suggestion. If not, I do have things coming for the Metal Rebellion, so go subscribe there. You're going to see this shit get uploaded on a probably every 3 days basis, and I will also have a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, depending on how often I can get out there and actually film skateboarding, but there is going to be at least bi-weekly skate videos or vlogs or trick progressions on my Stuck Skateboarding channel. So if you're missing me here on the Black Metal Rebellion, just know I will be posting on the Metal Rebellion and Stuck Skateboarding. Cheers. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching these videos. I really do, because sometimes this vocation, this YouTube job is the only thing that keeps me sane half the time. So thank you guys for that. I plan on doing a 3,500 subscribers giveaway video in the future sometime. I want to give back to you guys, and I appreciate you for getting me there. And I meant to mention that a while back. I just been fucking brain farting all over the place. The screen should be green from how much brain fart there is going on. So yeah, I plan on doing that soon. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. I didn't, you know, I'm not ungrateful that I'm at 3,500 subs. That's amazing, and I never thought I'd get that far. So trust me, it's on my mind. It's just a matter of money and a matter of when I'm able to actually mail out these things, because I don't want to do a video and announce a winner and be like, yeah, by the way, I'm not going to be able to send you your thing for 2 months, because fuck people who take a month to ship out stuff. Anywho, that's it. For Glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slammerella out.